Hi everyone, it's Nicole from Lifestyle Wellness in Sarnia, Ontario. I'm a registered degree RN and a live blood cell analyst. And I'm here to introduce to you two of my wonderful friends, Teresa Montanino and David Itkow. David's other name is Sun Wolf, and he's from Arizona, currently at his home in Arizona. And Teresa is in her hometown. That's my hometown, which is Sarnia, Ontario. So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about LifeWave and Purium. We're all health advocates. We love to just spread the news of different ways to improve our health. And LifeWave is an interesting way to do that. And we're going to talk about PhotoBioModulation and what that is, and how the body uses light to heal. And Teresa will talk more about that. We just want to spread the news about just different ways to improve our health. And there's so much information out there, so we're just really passionate about this. And then we're going to talk about Purium as well, and how it's considered live food, and it's in powder. And so we're excited to share that. So Teresa, would you care to share a little bit about yourself and how we know each other?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Nicole. Hi, everybody. So Nicole and I actually met in Sarnia, and we met through health. I don't remember exactly the reason why we met.
I know, I don't either.
Right? I forget the reason, but I know that we met at Blackwater Cafe, and we had a really great talk there, and we just instant friends, just soul sisters. And, just every time we speak, we enrich each other, we inform each other, we help each other grow. So it's really exciting to get together and to have this kind of health also, information flowing between us. So we've known each other probably, I met you before I left for Arizona, which was 9 months ago. And so we met before then. We kept in touch this entire time. I came back to Sarnia. And in the meantime, in Arizona, I picked up another person, which is Sun Wolf, and we met. We met in Arizona, and he's now my partner. And he was just over here for a month, and we all met together at the same Blackwater Cafe. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it was wonderful.
So my background is in, I started in law and film and television. So I've made documentaries, I've worked in law as a law clerk and going to law school as well. So I'm very much an advocate for whatever I put my mind to. And right now it really is health. And so probably about over 10 years ago, I became an RMT due to some awakening that was going on in my life. So I had a big awakening, and I started studying health and nutrition. And I've always been a fan of it. I've always been involved in it, training for marathons and all kinds of things. I've always been an athlete in my life and dancer, but this was really specific into how is the body healing. And so I had a car accident and had to learn to heal myself. So I became really intuitive in terms of what's going on in my body, how to read my body. And I transmitted that to clients. I realized that was actually a gift that was given to me, by the creator above, for sure. And when I started doing it kind of with people, I realized, I really want the information in terms of the anatomy. I want to get deeper into this. I want to know more. So I got my RMT. And in Canada, it's a 3-year program. So it was really strenuous program, but I got a really great background, solid background in the body, and have been working ever since in that area and trying to expand out into different modalities, because I feel like it's a little cutting edge to do this kind of work. And so I'm always interested in things like LifeWave, for example, and Purium, which are also cutting edge products.
Yeah,
and we're going to get to that. Yeah.
Well, I know with RMT, I have lived with a few registered massage therapist students, and I remember thinking they know more anatomy and physiology than I do as a registered nurse. So it's a very complicated course. I remember that, oh my goodness.
And neuroscience too,
nerves,
all of these things. Yeah, but it's really helpful. Really helpful.
That's great. Good. And David, how about you?
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm so honored, and what a joy it was to meet you with Teresa. And I was telling to Teresa after we met, I said, I like this lady. She's a kindred spirit. She's our tribe. And it was such a joy to meet you that's on the path and what you're doing to make a difference in people's lives, and also being a way shower of different ways and modalities for improved health and well-being. So I'm blessed to just be with such extraordinary people. And of course, meeting Teresa in Sedona, it was just, it's like meeting me, you know, it's, female body, it's incredible. So basically my story, it's a very interesting story, because since I was a kid, I wanted to always make a difference and be of service. And I'm a truth seeker and freedom dancer. And lo and behold, I couldn't play the game in looking at going for a job, looking for working for a corporation. It wouldn't be me, and it's very dehumanizing. So I said to my mom, whatever I do, I want to help people and I want the truth. Walked into a health food store in my early 20s, and I went, wow, hallelujah, that's what I want. The information is there, I could interact with people and share things that really matter. So I've been involved in this field for decades in several different modalities. So health is a myriad, a plethora of different things. Our thinking, what we feed our body, how we nourish our body. I wrote an article years ago. It's not so much what we eat, but what's eating us. That's a whole nother aspect. So yes, I've been involved for many years, and people call me a curator of not good, not very good, but extraordinary products. And Purium and LifeWave are sister and brothers.
Yeah.
They're part of my health table. Great compliment.
Yeah, to do health, you can't just come from one angle, right?
Exactly.
You need like 3 or 4 different angles. So that's why I can see how LifeWave and Purium complement each other. So yeah, and like even homeopathy, for example, that's another modality that I think is very complementary. So and I know, like to even just get out of Western thinking into supplementation is one giant leap, right? Into natural health is just one giant leap of mind shift. And then to go from supplementation into homeopathy is another whole mind shift. And then to even jump from homeopathy or supplementation into what LifeWave's biomodulation is another whole complete concept. But we don't just use one of those things, we use all 3 of those things. So to say, like, I just don't agree with just one avenue. I think that we need to incorporate everything. So yeah. Let's talk about, Teresa, do you want to talk about photobiomodulation and what that actually is?
Sure. So when I had this awakening, let's say going from, one way of working or one way of being really into this other way, working with my hands, literally what happened is I became a light worker. So what I realized is I could put my hands on someone and get information, just be reading the body, and my light from the hands would be so hot on people's bodies. They would always say, is there a heater on my body right now? That's my hands, just my hands on their body before I did even learn the massage part of it. So this was just straight up, after the awakening. And so I realized, okay, something's going on here. There's something healing the body with light from my hands, but I had no clue what it was, So essentially, when I came to LifeWave, part of my skepticism with David introducing it to me, with Sunwolf introducing it to me, was I already do this. I already know this. This is what I do. I practice Qigong. I know, I generate energy with my hands. I know that that's a thing. And so it took me a little while to kind of understand how this could benefit someone like me too, like an actual practitioner that, works with light. Why would this be beneficial to me? Right. And so what I realized is it's really a union and an enhancement for almost like the healer to be healed as well, So who works on me? LifeWave does, so it really is an open door with this kind of technology. So essentially when you work with your hands like that, you're emitting this heat. And, they've studied Qigong practitioners, they've studied people, they know that there is heat being emitted. But so what happens with this? So normally when we say photobiomodulation, what that is an absorption and a reflection, so in and out of infrared light. And so that's kind of going on with the hands, right? Somehow I'm generating light, it's coming in, I'm absorbing light from wherever in my body it's coming from, and I'm reflecting it back onto the person. So I'm doing photobiomodulation with my work. It's called energy medicine because of that reason. So what LifeWave has done is taken that concept, and instead of using like a infrared lamp or an infrared laser, we use these patches. And so they're little patches. David, or Sunwolf, do you want to show them kind of what a patch looks like so you can get an idea? Very tiny. And that's with a sticker on the back. So when you take the sticker off, there's just a little tiny area that is actually, you know, white or whatever color it happens to be, depending on what it's reflecting. So what happens is this LifeWave patch is full of organic materials, natural materials, and they found that photobiomodulation does not need to come with a lamp or a laser. You can actually use natural materials to absorb and reflect.
That makes sense. I guess if it's organic, it has light. Is that a great concept? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty simple, you know? Pretty simple. So what the patches have in terms of organic natural material are crystals. And they're these tiny little crystals, they activate with the body heat. So you're putting it on the body is emitting infrared heat. So what's happening is it's going to get into that patch, activate the little crystals. The crystals are going to absorb the heat and re-emit it back into the body.
Yeah, like a reflector, sort of.
Right, like a reflector, but back into the body. It's your own body heat going back into your body, giving yourself infrared light. And this is actually essentially healing. So this is what happens because the brain gets triggered, the body gets triggered by a few mechanisms I'm going to talk about to actually start healing itself on a systemic level, meaning the whole body, not just specific points, because we do put these on points, and I'll explain that too. So
can you talk about infrared and the importance of like infrared particularly?
Well, that's what we emit. That's what we emit. Yeah. So that's that the body emits. So that's why we're redirecting our own body heat into
infrared has it's anti-aging component to it too. So it has the healing. Infrared specifically has a healing component too. Does it not?
Yeah,
I know some technologies out there, they say, oh, and it has infrared technology, meaning it has anti-aging properties, or it actually heals you versus damages you, kind of. So,
well, and the reason why it does, right? The reason why is because it activates the stem cells.
Right.
Even before that though, so there's two things that happen with the infrared light going back in the body. So it's basically creating energy medicine in your own body. Okay. So LifeWave is basically, you're stimulating the skin with this light, and that upregulates the ATP production in the mitochondria. So that's our energy production center in the body. That's one effect. Okay. Then the other thing is the other stimulating effect is it actually elevates the copper peptide. And this activates the body's stem cells to act younger and healthier. That's actually the groundbreaking research that LifeWave has done. So they've realized this peptide is also up-regulated with this stimulation, not just the ATP production. So you get two things going on, and that's getting the stem cells activated. And so when and it's kind of like, you know, it's a similar idea to like, I'm going to go outside, it's sunny outside, my body's going to biochemically take the light of the sun and produce vitamin D. This is the same idea, but with our own, so with
I'm glad you gave that example.
And then another frequency of light from the sun will cause the body to make melanin.
Interesting. Okay.
So because thousands and thousands of years, we've known of frequencies that cause different changes in the body. This is not good.
I guess rife therapy is kind of this idea too, right? Certain frequencies affect the cells differently. So
exactly. And Edison has said, if you want to understand the universe, know about frequency, energy, and vibration. So we are beings of light and vibration.
Exactly.
Energy.
Yeah. And that's what they're saying is energy biochemically changes the body. They know that now. That's what energy medicine is. You know, it's always been this ancient, unknown, mysterious practice, but that's actually what it is. It's energy biochemically changing the body. And so what's really interesting about the LifeWave technology is because they are doing this work with the stem cells in the body. Stem cells, the really cool thing about stem cells is they can turn into different tissues within the body, depending on what the body needs. So they have that capacity to do that. And the really cool thing about mitochondria is that little bits of it travel through the blood. So everywhere in the body where there's blood, mitochondria is everywhere in the body. So stem cells, if you get stem cells being able to turn into different tissues depending on what the body needs, and you get mitochondria rolling through the blood everywhere in the body, you get a systemic body healing.
Yes.
You get whole body healing. So
Yes.
it's not just one place. But what's really cool though is they do have specific healing points, because the really cool thing that they also found out doing LifeWave research, and we can put some studies down below that
Yes.
really showed us very clearly. There's about 3 or 4 very cool studies, and they've been doing this for about 20 years in research, but the past 10 years they've developed 9+ studies that are very key to understanding and unlocking this. So we'll put some links down for people. But so for specific healing, what was really interesting for me, because I work on energy points, I work on meridian points in the body all the time, because I've taken other courses since. I don't just do RMT now. I do all these other Chinese modalities. So what they realized is if you're stimulating an acupuncture meridian point, happening is that activates the stem cells, because stem cells are along those meridian lines.
Wonderful. Okay. I just learned a lot about meridian and the meridians in our teeth and how that affects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your mouth meridians, huge. Yeah. So
Yeah.
very interesting.
Fascinating, right?
Yeah, it is.
So that's why Chinese medicine works so well.
Yeah.
So it heals the body. And then if you're putting a LifeWave patch on a specific meridian point, which they do recommend on certain, key healing points, you're going to be healing that organ that's related to it, or that function, but you're also going to be having the systemic healing. So you're getting a full-blown effect, and that's the X39 patch. That's kind of their most recent technologically advanced one, and that's where the stem cell activation comes into effect. And David can talk a lot more about the patches, because he's been with LifeWave so much longer.
Well,
so he really knows about this stuff.
You've done a great job in explaining, like, it's fantastic. By the way, I don't know if you know this, by the age of 30, we actually lose half of our stem cells.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Here we've got this
They say so much
technology.
about 30 and mental health and 30 and wrinkles and 30
At my age, we hardly have any. But what if you could activate, and activating stem cells is going to regenerate and repair any damaged tissue. I've never been with a company where I heard so many stories. For example, I had floaters, gone. I had a situation with my knee, a serious knee infection, close to the bone, major healing. People, headaches, all kinds of cognitive decline improved. I don't want to name diseases, inflammation, arthritis, an acceleration of wound healing, greater brain function. Whatever the body needs help, that's where these stem cells go. Testimonies are all over the place. Now,
that's just how stem cells work, right?
Yeah,
that's just naturally, that's just how our bodies work. So
exactly.
You're just
so
supporting the body.
Someone was going to spend $15,000 on stem cell injections, and they take it out of their blood.
I've heard that a lot lately.
And another one was going to spend $6,000 for a shoulder, a rotator cuff tear.
Right.
After getting them on the patches, results were phenomenal. They did not have to go that route. First of all, it's not only very expensive, you're not guaranteed of results, and of course, what are the side effects down the road?
And where did they get the stem cells from?
And where did they get the stem cells?
Where did they get the stem cells
Right, that's a huge question.
Wouldn't you rather have your own body stem cells?
Yes, definitely. I wouldn't trust where.
Listen,
that's right.
Listen, if I was a baby, all I want is breast milk. That's all I want.
That's true.
Where it comes from the body, it's like the stem cells. And you mentioned, Nicole, about glutathione. What an opportunity for it to be activated through our
naturally, our own glutathione.
Yes, it doesn't have to go through the digestive system. It doesn't have to, you're not going to get great utilization. I mean, I've just pushed into glutathione. Maybe I could expand a little bit on that. So glutathione is a very, very important antioxidant. It was released by LifeWave, I think 2014-15. Suzanne Summers many people know, she was very enamored with it. She's all about reverse aging. So she got onto that and had great results. And she traveled with David Schmidt, the inventor. Now, she has a chapter in her book, Breakout, all about LifeWave and David Schmidt's history and his research. So this is a very regenerative science-based company. So glutathione is a major detoxifier. If you're looking today with all the things we're being bombarded with, we have no control. What a way to take a patch that activates your stem cells, actually not just stem, activates glutathione 300 to 400% in a few minutes once you use this patch.
Wow.
So it's a very powerful detoxifier. It also, increases the integrity of the cells. It slows down aging, and it's very, very important.
Well, I take glutathione supplementation, and when I get moody, so glutathione and the liver are really directly related to each other. When I get moody and I start taking my glutathione, like I can see it on my face, I can see it in my mood, I can see it on everything. It just helps curb the irritability because it helps support your liver, and huge antioxidant. But if I can get that naturally instead of supplementing, that's always better
produces it. Yeah, you're getting your own body to produce it.
Yeah,
that's always better. You're reducing free radical damage. Your cells are not going to be subject to early rusting. So that is totally, that's amazing. And they have clinical studies that show 300 to 400% increase once you put a patch on in just a few minutes.
Wow. Okay.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. So what other kind of patches do you have, David?
Well, there's quite a few they have, but you always want to focus on the holy grail, which is the stem cell, because it does almost everything. So, so I'll mention a few because we don't want to confuse people.
Yeah.
There's something, David Schmidt's favorite patch before the X39 is a patch called Eon. It is phenomenal for the nervous system.
Yeah.
Because many times we have imbalance of the nervous system.
Yeah. It's an epidemic, honestly.
What it also does, it reduces swelling. And swelling we sometimes don't even feel and know about.
Yeah.
So it's a very key piece to bringing the body also back to homeostasis and balance. It's all about how our nervous system is handling, our day-to-day activity, increasing cortisol, how to reduce that, how to modulate, manage, the hormones, etc. But it's powerful also for reducing inflammation as well.
Yeah, I see so much inflammation on live blood. We just had this discussion, inflammation, and then you have adrenal issues, and the nervous system issues, and your fight or flight response is always on. And we need something that's going to help regulate and say to our nervous system, shut off and turn on when appropriately. But that's really hard because we're living in such a toxic environment. So yeah, we just had this discussion when I did my live with a client this morning on an inflammation, and he asked me, does everyone have inflammation? I said it's an epidemic. So yeah, if it's going to help inflammation and the nervous system, yeah, for sure.
Huge. And then the first patch that David came out with almost 20 years ago, 20 years, was a patch called the Energy Patch. And he used that with the Naval SEALs. He had a contract with them. They were heavy users of coffee. It wasn't helping them. These energy patches transformed their performance. They were more efficient. They weren't rattled with so much stress. So it's called the energy. The energy patch also is modulating how much energy in and out. So it's all about balancing. That sometimes could be used along with pain and to equalize the body. So it's not just about getting more energy. It's about getting your organs to be alive and working the way they were supposed to work. So there's many different aspects.
Well, I think you said you'd put two patches together, maybe an energy and a pain patch. But sometimes if you treat someone's pain, they're all going to get more energy just naturally that way too. So they work together.
They all work together. You could wear more than one patch, but again, we like to start people off with the X39.
Okay.
If they have specific pain situations, then you want to add on the other patch.
Okay,
if they have a severe problem with sleep, because the X39 helps in a myriad of ways, then you might want to add the Silent Night, which really helps, really regulate sleep and make sure you have good, deep sleep.
Yeah.
Then they have something for skin as well. So they have a few different ones.
Okay. And how did you come to work with LifeWave, David?
Okay, how did I come to work with LifeWave? By the way, I'm an independent distributor, contracting business for myself, so I don't work for them.
Okay.
I use them as part of my health repertoire. I've known about them for some time. I seem to know a lot of what's out there, and I saw that this is the future of medicine. And the company literally through the X39 has grown in just 3.5, 4 years, 15, 16 times, which is wild. So I've always known for a long time that we are beings of light. And if you could have something that's a historical breakthrough, that is affordable, that people could afford it, think about a cup of coffee a day. Wow. So I'm just very blessed to have this company as part of my health repertoire as I do Purium, the superfoods. And it's quite amazing.
Yeah, it's like $3 a day for around $3 a day. You can be reactivating your stem cells.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And imagine
my
what
coffee's
you spend
more than that because I go
on.
to Starbucks.
Yeah, and what are you doing instead? Why wouldn't you reactivate your stem cells instead of killing your stem cells?
That's right.
It's amazing talking today with a couple of people about health at working out. I said, how important is your health? I mean, what's important to you, I should say. The person said health, of course. He was open to learn more. And I said to him, if there was a way that could improve your health naturally, would you be open? Totally, totally open. For me, health is number one. Without health, everything else is useless.
Right.
And this guy who's younger than me says, I want to be able to move and play with my grandkids, and I'm having a tough time moving and shaking it. And I said, hey, the body's a miracle. It just needs an opportunity.
Right.
So yeah, it's amazing.
All right. Let's talk about Purium. What I found really interesting when we were talking about Purium is the bioavailability, the nutrient dense. So what this is it's a powder, and correct me if I'm wrong, that is considered live food that is in a powder form, and it's nutrient dense, which I'm constantly talking about nutrient dense. And a lot of people don't know what nutrient dense is. It just means that every bite you eat is going to be so much, there's nutrient, it's just packed with nutrients, versus our food now, it just is not. And one way you can tell if it's nutrient dense or if it's bioavailable is how you feel after you eat something. Do you get tired after you eat, or do you get real energy after you eat? So important.
And the easily digestible part.
Easily digestible.
As well. That's a factor, right? And how you feel afterwards.
Yeah, because like if your gut is working overtime to digest, you're going to get tired. And that's a huge sign of either gut issues or just the quality of your food is poor. And so I'm a huge firm believer in digestive enzymes. And I talk about digestive enzymes to all my clients with live blood. I see protein digestion issues all the time. And, also blood type is a part of this. So if you don't know your blood type, take a look at your blood type. Type O loves protein and type A loves vegetables. And if you're a type A and you eat some hamburger or something from the grocery store, you might feel bloated. That's all related to blood type and genetics. And so anyways, we got to talk about there's a story. A girlfriend of mine went and we bought some bison meat, and it was organic. And then we go to the hamburger at the grocery store, and she'd get bloated with regular meat. But when she tried the bison meat, she talked about it for 3 days. That I actually got energy from it, and I felt great afterwards. And I'm like, these are all indications that the protein's good for you, and that and it's bioavailable, nutrient dense. And so let's talk about Purium and what that is. Like, I know you had a discussion with a lady about protein powder.
You're talking to me?
Yes, Teresa.
Yes, actually that's a really great segue because I was
Yeah.
actually gonna, come up with this. So I did one of my clients, she's dealing with a big health struggle right now. And it's very serious. There's a lot of work that she's doing, and she's on the naturopathic fields of this. She's not going into traditional allopathic medicine with this, but she's dealing with a lot of health issues, trying to restore her body, potentially from cancer. That's what we think she might have. And so I was talking to her about, and David was as well. David, we were both talking to her after one session that I had with her, because I'm doing some of the light therapy on her. And so I said to her, because she can hardly eat. She can't really take in a lot of food right now. She just doesn't have the appetite. So the big thing that we were saying is you need to have nutrition in your body. So I asked her, what are you taking? She's like, oh, yes, I take a protein powder, and that's, I have a shake every day. And I used to do this too before I got sick. This is my habit. And I said, can you just tell me what, just take a picture of what your protein powder says on the back in the ingredients list and just show it to me. So she did. And I'm just going to read off a few just so you have an idea.
So we don't have much time left. So
no, I'll be really fast.
Yeah,
So I'll just give you an idea. So this is the traditional powder. So there's pea protein. None of it's organic. None of it's non-GMO. This is all just regular. Yeah, pea protein, calcium, flaxseed, magnesium, vitamin C from petroleum sources, coenzyme Q10, niacin, which I don't even know, pantheonic acid, vitamin B6, magnesium, riboflavin, beta carotene, copper. Okay, selenium. I could go on and on. Natural flavor.
Some of those are really good.
Are they? Are they though? Okay,
well, that's the thing. You'd read it and you're like, those are good ingredients.
Yeah, because you're like, wow, I'm getting all my vitamins, right?
Right, exactly.
So let's go to the Purium just as an example. So a Purium protein powder, organic brown rice protein, organic pumpkin protein, organic sunflower oil powder, organic moringa leaf, organic acerola cherry extract, organic maca root, organic chaga, organic cordyceps, organic turmeric, or in the greens version of it.
All
organic. Organic oak grass, organic pineapple, organic ginseng, bee pollen, on and on and on and on. So what's the difference between the first list and the second list? The first list just gives you vitamins. God knows where they come from. A lot
That's true.
A lot are derived from
Jameson.
Yeah, a lot of them are. And the other one is real food. It just has food in it. You get your vitamins and your protein from food, not from extracted minerals and vitamins from God knows where. And a lot of vitamins are in the petrochemical industry. So it's just, for me, so I'm not a protein powder person, but when I saw that, because of the ingredients, because up to this date, I never found anything that was worthwhile trying. And when I saw Purium and David introduced it to me, I said, I'm on board. Like, I want to try this. And I get so much energy from it. I have a shake a day and then my meal at night, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, and it's becoming more popular to only have like 1 to 2 meals a day. We're getting off this 3 meals a day whole rhythm.
We've been conditioned thinking we have to have lunch. It's total nonsense.
Exactly.
But I just want to add, yes, Purium, the owner, David Sandoval, opened up one of the first organic facility about 36 years ago. He would walk around in shows and talk about his Kamut wheatgrass, and he had people just laughing at him. Okay, he was way ahead of his time. He also stopped Monsanto from buying out over 230 Thailand rice farmers. His packaging is tree resin, bamboo, and hemp. So there's consciousness. Here's what I say to people. It's okay, you want to get health products, but vote with your dollars. What this man is doing is miraculous. He's a health activist, advocate, and he's been an icon in this field for many, 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 many years. And I call it, your superfood superstore. So it's interesting you mentioned enzymes. Well, guess what? Teresa, we always after me, Teresa, let's get her enzymes. She knows it's almost habit.
I'm getting there. I'm getting
into the group. So here's the other thing. Not all powders are created equal. This is a special process that's low heat, okay? That's really important. He also makes a chlorella tablet and his other things that he's using post-World War II machinery, so it's not oscillating at such high heat. The high heat with the modern machinery kills the volatile, compounds and constituents. So, it's like when you buy cheap, you get cheap. And the taste quality is great. And then we could talk with the last few minutes maybe about survival. I call it my survival food. my
Yeah, we have
emergency food.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to add
It's
anything?
great prepper food. It's
Yeah.
great
Pepper,
for prepping.
great, and it's dry, and it's weighs very light. It's
Yes.
lightweight.
So you can travel with it
You
easily.
could travel with it. You know what? I have more
Great for
Puriums in my
campers.
suitcase than clothing.
It's true.
I'm
I
telling
saw
you.
that when he
That's
came
true.
and I said, bring some for me. And he brought the whole suitcase.
I'm
of
telling you,
That's
Purium.
funny.
and it's so delicious.
It's gold. It's
And, you know,
gold.
so
And it lasts for how many years? Like
well,
two,
the life
three,
of,
like what's
of
the
the
life
product is about 2 to 3 years. The life of it,
Okay.
and it's still good a little bit after, of course. But again, I have now Purium food. I should show you here for about at
show
least a
them.
year.
Show
I don't
them
know how to
show them your
it.
survival stock.
Yeah.
Oh, just move your computer, maybe. You can't.
No, it's too.
Yeah. He has a
Anyway,
giant shelf full of prepper food and it's all
We were
Purium.
talking about when we want to survive. We want to prep. People would go to the grocery store, buy whatever they can that's in a can, and stuff it on their shelf, and say, "Okay, I food prepped." But the mentality they're having is survival. But what we want is we want to thrive while we're surviving, not just
Yes.
survive. Because we can
Amen.
do more damage eating that food than we would even fasting, for example. So like I've said before, if you have a choice between junk food or not eating, then do not eat because you're actually doing more damage to your body. So we want to thrive with nutrient dense food, even while we're prepping or we're camping or whatever it is. So yeah, I think survival versus thriving is a very important detail, and having nutrient dense food is the way to go for sure.
I call it
that's
thrival.
good.
It's like survival versus thrival.
Yeah, thrival.
Right? Like,
That's good.
yeah.
I like
That's what I
Yeah, yeah.
call it. And if you're gonna have like, we went to a preppers kind of meeting, I guess. It was like a really cool gathering of very interesting people. And they showed us this giant, knapsack with all of their food in it. And he was listing off the ingredients. It was all dehydrated, et cetera, full of chemicals, full of God knows what. We don't even know if
White
anything
flour.
or nothing. Yeah, white flour, sugar, regular sugar.
Ugh.
And I thought, is that really what you actually want to put in your body? Like, why? Okay, it lasts for 10 years, but you're probably just going to need a few years. And why wouldn't you want real food? Like, all you need with Purium is just some water or liquid. That's it.
Yep. And you only
Or you
need
can just
one
take the powder
nutrient
without it.
dense meal a day,
Yes.
right? So
Correct.
it's not like you have to eat 3 meals a day. You don't. You eat one solid meal a day or a snack through the day and you're fine. So
Exactly.
yeah. So yeah. So I guess the last question I had was why is it important in today's world to incorporate both of these two healing modalities?
Very simple. We need to eat. Number one, we want to get live raw food, and of course, number two, we also are light beings, and we want to, energy medicine is so important. And when we could kind of light up our cells, increase the voltage, increase, that with our body, it's very important. We want to turn on the light, and energy medicine, like Teresa talked about, frequency healing is the medicine of the future. And we need to incorporate that. So light and food, it's the perfect marriage.
Perfect. Well, I just want to thank you guys for joining me, and I'm so grateful for all your information and for your friendship.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Same,
Been a joy.
Nicole.
Blessings.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Blessings.